Jason, man, how are you?
Good, bro. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. But how's the family? How's the kids?
Not bad. Busy. School holidays for the eldest. So, no, it's been good though. It's helped us probably adjust to moving back to Sydney a little bit more, having nothing on the Easter weekend and school holidays. So it's been nice.
Yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie, because I had a lot of basketball too, because I'm covering the whole stuff, and I saw the East. I'm like, but I'm not doing nothing for basketball. Just taking it a
Bro,
little
it's
bit.
it's the first weekend I think I've had nothing in like eight
How,
months. I was
how'd you take it? How was it?
I did. Oh, I went to the Dogs game on Friday. Took my eldest Louis. It's his first footy game, so I took him on Friday to that. We did a bit of the Easter show Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, bro, it was just in and out of the pool and just bumming around the house. So it was awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're a doggies fan, man. And I was watching the game earlier. I'm only up to half time. I got to pause, so I'm gonna catch up to it. But hey, man, what'd you make of that start?
I missed it because I was at training, so I turned it on and I thought, "What the hell's happening? This ain't worth watching." Hey, we were due for a loss, so it's all right.
Yeah, not like that. I mean, I'm in a lot of group chats with like Bulldogs fans and Broncos fans, and it's going off. So,
Well,
cheer for that.
we start to play a little bit better, so that
Mm.
helps. More of what we've
Hey,
seen anyway.
does Crichton score? Crichton?
No, I don't think he does.
Ah, fuck, all right. Because I just used my number one waiver on the guy, so I'm like, all right. Now I got to ask, man. I saw a podcast that you did. Basketball was kind of instilled in you when you were young.
Yeah.
Your kids have that sort of same genes where they picked up with the basketball and go, "This is what I want to do."
My eldest Louis, who's 5, since he's been real young, since he was basically walking 2 years old, he's picked up a ball and been pretty natural with it. A little bit of a freak with some of the things he could do from a young age. My middle one, Scarlett, she hasn't had the same to sport. She's starting to want to grab a basketball and shoot, but she's been a bit slower on the take up of basketball. But it's one of those things, man. Kids just pick up
Yeah.
their own things at their own time. So I was never pushed into basketball. I just found my way into it, and I'll be the same way with them. I'd love them to find their way into basketball because I think it's a great upbringing. It's a great network and a great circle of people, but each to their own with that.
Nah, yeah, beautiful, man. And I was going to ask, man, how have they kind of enjoyed having you around? I know you're kind of retired, not traveling and stuff like that. Have they enjoyed it?
Yeah, I'm probably around less now because I'm working long hours doing different things with step one. So, no, it's been good though. Obviously, I've had the chance to settle in. I haven't had to travel. I will have to travel with my job at certain times, but it's it's been nice, probably, I guess, from our standpoint, moving somewhere to we're gonna like bunker down for a little while. Like we found a place to rent that we really wanted to move into, and this is kind of home now for this foreseeable future. So I think for us that was exciting as a family.
Now, I'm going to do a little shameless plug. I'm the host of the Kings Table, the Sydney Kings podcast,
Yes,
with the
I've
basketball
seen.
fix. And Kendrick Davis just signed for the Sydney Kings.
Yeah.
Paired up with Matthew Dellavedova. What can we expect from that backcourt?
It'll be interesting. Obviously, everyone's seen how talented KD is and what he can do with the ball, and he can put up numbers very, very quickly. I think Delhi, in a way, is the perfect guy alongside him in terms of Delhi will be able to help him and help him mature and help him play a different way. I'm interested to see the dynamic of the ball in whose hands for long periods of time, though, because KD is someone that likes to have the ball in his hands and because he can do so many good things with it. But Delhi's also someone who can make a lot of things happen and make people's lives easier. So it'll be an interesting dynamic. But Sydney are putting together quite a squad as they have done for a few years now. So
Mm,
probably got one more piece to add to that, and then they're off and running.
yeah, man. Man, they just need a big. That's where they messed up last season. They didn't get a big. But yeah, that's for last season. We move on. But look, now we're talking about the whole Bankstown Bruins. You guys are off to a kind of I'll say a shaky start because like I've been watching you guys every single game. 2-2, you kind of have good spurts and then bad spurts. Especially against
Mm,
the higher quality teams like COE, and then the last game against the Sharks, where man, like you started strong up against the Sharks, and then kind of just the
fell apart.
offense, yeah, the offense just kind of fell apart. What's your take on your start to the season?
It's exactly that. We're finding ways to lose at the moment, and we're finding ways to make games uglier than what they need to be at times. And I've said to our group since the start, like I think our journey is going to be a long one. I think everyone was expecting us to come out and just go whack 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 and win a bunch of games, but obviously losing losing our big at the start of the year didn't help. Big Nay, hopefully he's going to have to heal up, but we'll have a big come in, obviously, hopefully in the next week. So I think that'll go a long way. We've got a lot of young guys who are trying to play big minutes, and I think the thing with Bankstown at the moment, which they probably haven't had for a number of years, is the expectation. When you play with expectation on you, it's a whole different world because people are probably trying to pick up when you, I guess, have bad moments. And for us too, everyone probably wants to play good against
Mm.
Bankstown, where for years they probably rolled in just expecting to get wins. And last year the group did a great job of finding a way to make the playoffs and string some games together. But now everyone wants to beat us. And whether people acknowledge all that or not, you've seen it in the way people have played this in the first
Mm.
four games. Everyone's played top-notch basketball. So we'll find our way. It's been like, yeah, you could say shaky start, but I actually think it's just relative to where we're at right now. We'll get JG into the group. He's been training for the last little bit, so introducing him will make life easier on myself and the other boys. And then once we bring a big in, once again, there's another transition period that goes with that. But no, it's going to be a long journey, but if we figure it out, we'll be very tough.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because it actually leads up to my next question. I was going to say, look, you got Jalen Galloway, you got Hayden Blankley, Andre Wolford, Charlie McBeth. As the point guard of that team, man, how do you envision you playing basketball, man? Because like I kind of play point guard myself, so when you kind of see these pieces, you kind of really like have an idea of how you want to play it. Now, Barry, you're the sort of expert on this level. How do you envision playing with that sort of talent, and how can you make it work?
I just the one thing that I've always felt like I've been able to do on teams I've played on is make other guys' lives easier. So if I can make people better and make their lives easier, then my job's even easier. So that's I think a bit of a feeling out process at the moment too. Us finding ways when it gets hard, how do we find ways to bring me back to the ball where then we can get a better shot and not rush stuff and not feel like everyone has to make a winning play every moment. And so that's the one thing with talented groups that you've got to find ways of sometimes you have to sacrifice for others. And for me, it's just about showing, I guess, the younger guys coming up and helping Hayden and Dre and where they're going, like how can I make their lives easier and show them how to help others? And if we can do that, like that's when teams become really, really good. But it's not an easy thing to figure out. It takes time and takes a lot of things to go your own way.
I just saw look quite annoyed just joined. I was very, very interested when I was watching the Sharks game. You got was that a block or a steal on
I
him?
blocked
Hey,
him. I told him about it too.
they didn't record it. Yeah, they didn't record it on the stat
I
sheet.
had two blocks in this other game. I got screwed.
Because yeah, I saw that little sneaky block, man. I was like, man, surely they got to count it and check the box score. I was like, nah. I was like, hey, man, that's tough. Um,
Especially these days, I'm getting older, so you've got to be able to record blocks on me on those ones. It's a little quick one, but hey, he's probably got me way more than I've got him,
nah,
that's for sure.
definitely. And there was a great photo that I saw too. I think he hit a shot and he was looking at you, sort of thing, in the
I,
background.
I I think he even tagged me in at the arse. No, Quat's good, man. Like he's the like I've obviously being from New South Wales, like I always followed juniors coming through and I've seen what Quat's been doing his whole career, like from afar. So we've obviously had over the last few years in the north our battles. And what he doesn't talk about is I actually won more of those battles than I lost. But I like the way he goes about it. I think the way he plays in both leagues. Like sometimes people think that NBL players come back and just want to cruise and just chill out. And Quat showed that when he shows up to different leagues, no matter where it is and what team, he'll make that team better and make him a contender because he's such a presence. And so I think the exciting thing for him is it showed in the NBL this year too
Definitely.
like that work that he's been doing around the NBL, but then in the off season transferred last year. So for him, like coming and staying in Sydney, playing for Sutherland, like it shows where his mindset is and what he's trying to do in Sydney now. And being a New South Wales boy, I think that's really cool. So I'm excited now. I'm not playing in the NBL to watch people like himself and their journey and can he repeat that this year in the NBL? I think that's a thing for him that he'd be thinking, how do I even get better and repeat that? And it's a hard thing to do because you start moving up on scouting reports and then you start getting more and more attention. So it's a cool thing for him to go through.
Hey, well said, man. Well said. Because yeah, when quite signed for to stay in Sydney, playing in front of his family, he was kind of like comfortable where he's at, sort of thing. So, no, definitely the way you said, well done. And hey, quite know if you want to jump on the show in about 5 minutes, get used to one. I've got a few more questions for Jason, but if you want to jump on for a quick 2 minute chat, send the invite. But look, that's my next question. You said you want to see how players grow. there's a player in Bankstown that I'm very, very intrigued about. Is Charlie Macbeth.
Yeah.
So he's 19 years old and he's about to kind of create his own path. And man, it's going to be a great path. What advice would you give any young kid in Charlie's shoes that are kind of trying to make it up? What advice would you give them?
Um, I think there's a few different things. Everyone's on a different journey, right? Like you can watch how people go about it. You can follow certain people, but everyone's on their own journey, and you've kind of got to figure out where you fit in that environment. I think the big thing for Charlie, he's got great size, great athleticism, shown the ability to put the ball to the floor, the ability to make threes. The next stage for him will be how do I fit into certain rosters and how do I make a difference without just doing that, because he has the athletic tools to be able to. And as you grow, the thing that changes is you might get the chance to put the ball on the floor or hold the ball or shoot 10, 15 shots in certain environments. As you go up stages, that drops. You get smaller chances where it's got to be catch and shoot, catch and play. If you hold it any longer, you're coming to sit down because it's someone else's job to hold the ball longer. And so that's where people have to find their way. And you start to earn the right to hold onto the ball longer and do things like that. He's fearless. The way he goes about it, I think he's going to get better and better as this thing goes on. But I'm excited for him to. Think he'll probably go to college and where that journey takes him. But anyone who can come out and attack that with fearlessness, you got to respect it. And then at times wind him back a little bit and then let him go again.
Well, you said something that I kind of I had a bit of goosebumps with because you're talking about understanding your role, and I feel like especially in Adelaide in your last season where you kind of were trying to find your role, especially with KD in the squad being a high ISO player. But then when he went a lot of ISO and the ball stopped moving and the offense was stagnant, you came onto the court and then you kind of found yourself in those big minutes, in those clutch minutes at the end of the games and stuff like that. So, no, I will say, especially when you said that, like you play your role and then you'll find that piece and then you earn the trust to kind of do your thing.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I just want to shout out to you because, yeah, you were playing some big minutes at the end of that sort of season for Adelaide 36ers. And what was it like? I got to ask, man, what was it like playing with Montrezl Harrell, Kendrick Davis, and kind of like the roller coaster and circus that was going on around it too? Like for you, like as a player in the locker room.
Yeah, it was eventful. Look, at the end of the day, like even Trez is a great guy. And what you see is what you get. Like he's no different what you see on the court when we're playing in Sydney or wherever to what he was at training, to what he was. He was always the loudest guy in the room. But he was also the first guy to check in and say, "How's the family going? What's happening?" Like he's just a really good dude. Him and Kendrick mixed in with our crew made it, I guess, a lot of different angles to deal with. So when we were very good, we were very, very good.
Mm,
But when we were bad, we were bad. And I think that's at the end of the day where we fell out. You just can't have that kind of up and down shift to those like highs. Like you can't go from being the best team in the comp for 5 minutes and then the worst team in the comp for the next 5 minutes. And that's what we
yeah.
were at times. So I think that was our downfall in the end. But look, I love playing with Trez. I've got to play with a lot of good NBA guys and different dudes that have played in different walks of life over the years, and each is a story that I get to leave with, which is pretty cool.
I just saw Talia just joined on the chat. Hey, keep that confidence, man. You better shoot that ball like you did last week, man. It was great to watch. And look, I just want to say, look, you guys have a big double header coming up this weekend. You got the Crusaders on Sunday, and then the Inner West Bulls. Two teams that are kind of in that mid-table pack where you guys are at the moment. When I saw the ladder, you guys are sitting in 10th, kind of caught me off guard a bit there. But what's your mindset heading into this weekend?
Same for us. Like honestly, I'm not worried about where we sit right now. It's where we sit later in the season. We just got to worry about getting better. Like it doesn't matter who we play, whether it's the top team or the last team. For us, we just have to play more consistent minutes for longer. Like you said it before, like against Souther, we play really good for 10 minutes. We play okay for 10 minutes, and then we just play terrible for the next 20. How do we iron that out so we play better for 30 minutes and there's a 10-minute drop off over the course of a game, which you can fix up? So um, both teams, like everyone right now, is trying to find their place too. But for us, we just got to play better for longer minutes, and when we have those drop offs, how do we stop them quicker? And so it's not that I'm not respecting who we play. It's just more that we've got to worry about our own stuff more than we've got to worry about other teams. But we'll come and play hard. Obviously, they're both big games. And as you said, everyone's kind of flip flopping on the ladder right now as well. So everyone's kind of in the same boat.
Now, I want to say thank you also, because look, I don't know how or why, but last season, mid-year, I was like, I want to try commentary. And then I hit up Bankstown to be like, hey, look, I want to do some commentary for you guys. And then I was like, oh, you got Hayden, you got Andre, you got Charlie, and then you had Jason Cadee. I was like, hey, bro, this is a dream come true, man. Like, you serious? And then you had like Jalen Galloway and stuff like that. And for me, my Caleb, who does the play-by-play,
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
he's got aspirations to kind of get into the NBL commentary and things like that. And bro, for him just to be able to cover you guys, it's great. Like we talk about it, we're like at the start of the season, like, hey man, like bro, what the hell just happened, man? Because like we signed up for Bankstown without knowing that you were coming, and then once you came, I was like, oh bro, pinch me, and then it's gonna be on KO. But I spent hours on KO, man, so I'm gonna actually hear my voice down. I'm like, slick.
No, it's cool, man. I think it's great. Like, obviously, the East has been regarded as probably not the strongest league. So to have some people join this year, I think it'll help it grow over the next few years. And like spoke about Quat before, but him choosing to stay and play and do that, I think is exactly what, especially those Kings guys, they can really build up like a great. Like I see what even Jalen at Bankstown, I seen what Quat was like at Sutherland,
Mm,
like Spurgeon there, like having those guys in those communities. I think it'll only increase what they mean to Sydney basketball. And I think that for me is exciting. And that's where you start to build up a following and people now latch onto the Kings, not just because of what you play for the Kings, because they've seen you play at Bankstown
yeah,
and Sutherland and those places where
okay.
they can actually walk up and feel like they're a part of the game. And that's why I've always loved, I've always called it ABA, but the NBL1 environment. It allows kids, parents, grandparents, whoever it is, to actually sit really, really close and walk out and talk to players that they watch from afar, probably more than not. So it's a great environment, and I think it's great for the East, and it's only going to get stronger and stronger over the next few
Yeah,
years.
because that was one of my highlights for the Sharks Bruins game was the kids, man. Because I was there, I waited for like about 15 minutes for hot chips. I nearly gave up on it, but then all the kids were like, "Hey, man, that was just quiet. That was Jason Cadee and stuff like that." So yeah, it's great. Exactly what you said, and it kind of builds that culture, Sydney Kings, and I feel like the Illawarra Hawks are doing that also.
Yes.
So that's just great for Sydney. That's just great for Sydney basketball. Now, look, I know it's late. I know you got a game tomorrow, so I just got one love of the game question for
Yep.
you. If you were to lock in a top three basketball moment of your career, what would it be? I was gonna say one, but if you have one, beautiful. But just give me top three. The three that come to mind.
Ah, winning the Com Games. Um, because I chose to actually, I turned down money to do that. So I was supposed to go back overseas and play in Slovenia, but I chose to stay here and play in that. So to win a gold medal at home, family and friends all around was pretty cool. Um, Another one was actually winning title with Bankstown back in 2016 because the year before, we a few of us were at the finals and it was at Sutherland, and we went to this pub after the game. I think the girls had lost or something had happened. We were all at the pub and it was me, Stevie Markovic, Clint Reed, Alex Obrajic, all ex NBL
Yeah.
players, or but had we're all Bankstown juniors. And we're like, imagine if we all played next year and we all actually played. Like we're all Bankstown guys. It ends up happening and we somehow end up winning. Like it just that journey and just to win that for not for myself, but to win it for the people that had been
Mm.
around for so long and hadn't won one for so long. That's pretty cool. And then I'd say overall, just getting to be a professional basketballer. Like for 15 years, I grew up loving the NBL, watching it, being around the Razorbacks. It's one of those things you probably don't start to really appreciate till you're done with it. And now
Mm.
that I've officially called my time on playing, I've started to truly appreciate how long, 15 years, it's all I've ever known. And so to just have gone on that journey and been a part of it, and I never see myself as a role model or anything, but to have kids reach out and appreciate what you've done, like the amount of messages I got when I announced I was retiring and people that had followed my journey,
Mm.
you kind of forget. You think you're always on a journey by yourself or with those close to you, but there's so many others that take joy in watching you play basketball. I think that's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, man, and you've had a wonderful career. As I said, like 424 NBL games, gold medal at the Com games, and just played with some great players. Yeah, I can't say I followed your career from the start, but when I kind of started following the Sydney Kings and stuff like that, saying you do your thing, six man of the year. Because yeah, I was putting money on the games, bro. So you came up clutch for me. So I appreciate that.
I can't talk about that yet. I'm still playing.
No. That's for Sydney Kings. I was at Sydney Kings.
Yeah, fair enough. No, it's cool, man. Like it's been good, and just to end up like my journey right now is a little bit different. Like I'm now working. Like I chose to retire to go into this job. So for the first time in my life, basketball is not my number one priority, and that's all I've ever known. So I'm going through a bit of a shift myself and trying to figure my life out at the moment a little bit with just basketball, work, family. So it's been a bit of a shift, but to be doing it at Bankstown where it all started, I think. yeah, it's kind of one of those moments where if you had to ask me up until a year ago, there was no chance I would ever end up back in Sydney playing for Bankstown, and here I am.
Yeah. Any chance to itch your feet? Might pull out of retirement?
Nah, bro. One retirement and done. I think I'm happy to go and sit at the games and have a drink and watch now.
Uh, Fingers crossed. We'll see you at the Brewers again next year, though. So that should be good.
Yeah, we'll see what
Nah,
happens.
hey, man, appreciate it so much for coming on. I know you kind of just finished training. I know it's a bit late. You've got an early game tomorrow, but I'll see you there and good luck. And hey, Caleb's waiting for like a big 30 piece or something like that. So you get it done for him, man.
I'll figure it out. Give me some time. I'll get there. Don't worry.
Beautiful. Hey, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Appreciate your work.
Thank you. Now, also, before we end the show, I had my three matchups of the round. I gave it to the sort of public to vote, and Sharks against Hawks, 86% of the votes were with the Sharks. Comets against Mustangs, 68% with the Comets, and Gunners and COE, 58% for the Gunners. That COE team is deadly, so that's going to be a great, great test for the Gunners. And yeah, we haven't seen the COE in a month now, bro. They haven't played since round one, so see how they go. But they should all be fresh, repping up in the under 18s. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. If you missed any of the show, I'll share it on my grid or whatever you call it, so you can tune in and catch up on